I wish we were playing.
Oh, your team? Oh,
Last week.
You got a young group in here. Or maybe I'm just old. Hey, room. All right. There won't be any judgment. How old do you think I am? I want honest answers. Don't stroke my ego.
As old as Matt Lynn.
Which is what?
About
Probably close. Maybe a little bit older. 42. So you know you're old. So we went to Oliver's in Blaine, me and my wife and my son, 3-year-old son. It's like these kids old enough to serve. They look like they're 12 years old. Like, honey, you're old. That's the problem. Y'all look youthful and vigorant and all of the things. So I'm going to get started. My name is Kyle Cross. I am an agent, obviously, with Keller Williams. I've been in real estate for about 12 and a half years. Here's some of my bio. I have my wife, as I mentioned, Jonna, my son Ellis, who has a superpower Down syndrome. Love him to death. He's the best thing in my life. I have done a little over about 1,000 transactions personally. My team to date has done about 6,500. We are going to talk about listings. This is my wheelhouse. This is what I do better than most people. And I'm going to give you the little tips, tricks, and tools that I use now to do up to 156 closed units in a year. When I say now, I do mean now. I went on 2 listing appointments on Saturday, met these people for the first time. They were both competitive, signed them on the spot. Good to go. 7% commission. We're set. So when I say this is what I'm doing, I mean it. For real, I mean it. So before we get started, I want you to stand up if you have the capability of doing it. High five 3 people and say, you're looking sharp today.
sharp day.
All right, high five 2 other people and say you're a realtor rock star. Rock star. All right. Last thing before we get into the content, I spend my morning doing gratitude. However, due to a busy schedule, I didn't have the opportunity. So let's hear 3 gratefuls from people. Not 3 gratefuls from one person, but 3 different gratefuls. What do we got? Be bold. Come on now. This is going to work if we're not bold and courageous.
I'm grateful that I started the day with 5 guys in a Bible study.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. What's your name?
Brent.
Brent. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes.
I'm grateful that I have a brand new wife this week.
Congratulations. That's kind of a big deal. Wow. Your name?
Vacation tomorrow.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
One more.
Well, that you're here today.
Thank you. Thank you. So this class is meant to be interactive. It's high paced. You're going to want to take notes. So if you're ready, whatever phone, notepad, you're going to want to be ready. This is going to go pretty quick. It's interactive. We're going to be talking. I'm going to be role playing. Yes. Question.
Will your slides be available to us or no?
You can reach out. There's ways to reach out to me afterwards.
Okay, okay,
Because within Maps, we have to keep things proprietary to Maps.
great.
However, I'll be making myself available too. And John connect us and all that stuff.
Is there any pens up there?
You don't see them. There's pencils. So you're going to want to make sure you're ready to go. This is interactive. We're going to be role playing. There's going to be times where you can stop and ask questions. Don't be shy. Here's the deal. There's a lot of brilliant people in this room. We want to make sure we're using that brain trust. Fair enough? Raise your hand if you're good with that. All right, that's 75% of you. Right. All right, here we go. Oh, all right, today. So outline for today. 1, we're talking about the listing appointment. How do we nail it? 3 main factors here. Finding motivation, diagnosing pain. How do we do this at a masterful level? 2, expectation conversations. How are we setting up the relationship and the expectations therein in such a way that we can win again at a high level? And then what's the ultimate goal of the listing presentation, y'all? The contract. You got it. Close it down. Shut it down. Get it done. You can do this. I believe in you. So this is the question time. Why is it important to set clear expectations? This is where you give me your answers, your feedback, your thoughts.
You're less likely to disappoint if they know what to expect.
I love it. Less likely to disappoint. I love it.
It's our.
So I heard 2 things at the same time. Clarity is power. Yeah, I love it. Somebody else say something?
Well, I was about to say essentially the same thing.
Yeah. What else? Yes.
Back to it and revisit and say, let's go back to what we talked about in the beginning.
You said, it was Brent, right?
Yep.
You said, I want to avoid mistakes. We could also, other flip side of that is, how do I win? Which we're going to talk about, right? I want to make sure that I tailor this to you all's experiences going on right now. So what challenges, welcome, what challenges are you seeing when sitting down in a listing appointment right now? Anybody willing to share?
Distractions,
Meaning,
kids, pets, people.
okay, so distractions, okay? Somebody else said,
They're not ready. They sit down and talk and they're not ready. They got this excuse or that excuse.
okay, I think we'll be able to talk to some of that, yes.
Competition.
Competition, okay, gotcha, yes,
Expectations of like what it's gonna look like they think it's gonna be hot, fiery, just like it's been, a few years ago.
what's the
couple of years
market you're saying?
ago. Yeah, like expectations flying off the market.
Yep. And ultimately, as professionals, whose responsibility is it to set the expectations? Ours. And as leaders, when something goes wrong, who's the first one to take responsibility? Us, right? So these are all legitimate. I think the vast majority of them will cover to some degree, and you can stop me if you need to. And also, I want to also reaffirm that if we see something that we don't like in our life, we first need to ask ourselves, how am I complicit in the things that I say I don't want in my life? Great examples, which, by the way, I've done this a million. The only reason I'm where I'm at is because I've done it a million times, and I've learned a million times what not to do. So we'll talk about all these things. Making sense? All right. So importance of setting expectations. A lot of you said this. We know how to win with a client. One, we know how to lose with a client. I would encourage you, when you're having questions, when you're at the seller's, I assume, kitchen table, or having the conversation, how do I win with you, that you would ask, how do I lose? Because I would not like you to, I would encourage you to not assume that losing is the opposite of winning in their mind. It could be, but if it's not, and you assume it is, now we potentially have unclear expectations internally that might throw us off if something comes up. Is that making sense? We know the rules of the game. We have a standard, or we set a standard for communication. This is a great place to say, hey, here's how I typically communicate. Is that in alignment with your expectation of me? If not, what would you like to see? And it creates maybe the most universal and maybe most profound is it creates common ground and agreement. So now we're clear. This is a relationship we all agree to for the purpose of X, and here are the ground rules that we know how to win, how to lose. These are the rules. In that context, we're going to communicate as thus. We're good. Just some commonalities. If you take top performers in the industry, here's what I've found. Just reminders, success starts the night before. My day is not finished when my get to list. I don't do a to-do list. I do a get to list. My day is not finished when I finish my get to list. It's when I finish my get to list for the following day, the night before. A lot of high performers, not just in real estate, in general, have a practice of they get fully prepped and ready to go the night before, so that when their feet hit that ground in the morning, they don't think, they just go. You've heard Gary say miracle morning. It's true. Miracle morning to win the day. Perfect practice makes perfect. Y'all have taken the time to be here, to invest in yourself, to invest in your future selves. So let me ask you this scenario. You can be honest. If you were going to go on a listing appointment this week, and for some reason you knew this is the only listing appointment for the rest of the year, would that change the way that you prepare for it, baby? I'm seeing some nods. So what's keeping you from doing that every single time and making that the standard? Maybe the more specific question is, what do you need to change in order to be in alignment with that standard? And then how do you standardize that into, how do you systemize that into your process? And then luck follows those who do the work. I've been at Family Reunion and Mega Agent Camp, Mega Agent Camp. If you haven't gone, go, please do. We hear people doing obscene numbers, 10,000 transactions as a team, whatever, on a panel. And then I'll hear somebody say, oh man, that guy got lucky. She got lucky. Well, there's probably some luck here and there, but my experience is that luck follows those who are doing the work. So just reminders. We all know it. It's good to be reminded of it. So here's what we're going to do. Finding the motivation and pain. The quality of the questions you ask will determine the quality of the answers that you get. I know this is basic, but sometimes we have to remember the fundamentals. If you're not spending time refining your listing presentation or asking better questions, I'd highly encourage you to get into that practice. Thus, the quality of the answers we get will determine the level of expertise you are able to give. We're going to role play some of this, literally. And then, who said it? Who said the clarity thing? Clarity is power. Yes, one of the bold laws. Yes, which the new bold laws are coming out, if not soon, if not already, very soon, they're amazing. Clarity also is caring. By asking questions, what do you mean by that? When you say this, is this what you're referring to? Tell me the importance about X, right? That's showing these people that we truly care. Now, this is your business. You can do it whatever you want, however you want, whatever philosophy you want. My submission to you is that compassion and care is going to go a long ways to building not only rapport now, but into lifelong raving fans. This is a lot of day work to get that listing appointment. So why don't we just do the work to keep them for life? All right, we're going to role play finding motivation. I need a seller, somebody to play the seller, and I need you to have a specific reason for selling, and we're going to literally role play. So would it be helpful if I gave you the literal questions that I ask? Yes? All right, we're going to do that right now. Who wants to be a seller? All right, Brent, you're up. All right, so Brent, we're talking about selling your house. We've gone through the preliminary conversational points. We're going to talk about the motivation now. So Brent, appreciate you having me out. Obviously, you want to sell. Tell me what about now makes you want to sell?
My kids are both out of school now, off onto college or life, and
Okay.
we're just ready to, we don't need as much space as we've got, but we're ready to downsize.
Ready to downsize because you don't need all the space that
Right.
you got.
And we don't really want them to move back in.
Yeah. I'm not at that point, but I understand. So downsizing, why is that important to you, Brent?
I feel like if we can downsize, the house we have is big and in a really good neighborhood with great schools. So I think we could probably walk out of it with some cash and maybe pay for the next house completely.
Oh, wow. And what's important to you about that?
I'm in this job that I've been doing for a long time and I want to slow down a little bit or whatever.
And
I don't need as much income.
I hear you. And if you're taking it even a little bit deeper than that, what's important to you about, that specifically? The job.
I'm able to be free to go visit my kids wherever they live, and I have more time, and my wife and I are ready to enjoy more time together and
Yeah.
less time going to soccer games.
I'm gonna pause it. Nice job, by the way. Nice job, boy. Can you see that we could sit on this for a while? It's not revolution. It's not like I'm doing some weak, crazy question. I'm just saying, what's important? What's important? Repeating back. So when you say this, what's important to you about that, right? We can camp out on this, and I would encourage you to camp out on this until they don't have an answer.
Yeah.
Right? Because what I could have done and said was say, okay, check, well, downsides, moving on. Well, when I come back to when things get hairy, potentially in the future for Brent and I in this market, which happens now, say, hey, Brent, I know downsizing is important to you. I know freedom in your life and not having be so financially strapped is important to you, Brent. Do you feel the difference between that? That's a completely different conversation. Motivation, we're finding motivation, right? I'm not saying be manipulative. I'm saying care and get clarity, because that is going to lead to a deeper conversation, a deeper relationship, all the things. Making
And them
sense?
being pissed off that their dishwasher that the buyers are asking to replace a $700 dishwasher. In the grand scheme of things, is a pretty small thing.
That's a great point, Brent. So when we're ever have a client who's you're getting negotiations, it's like, like they're just, I'm not paying an extra $5. It's like, guess what you bring up? Guess how you pull them back to see the 40,000 viewpoint, right? That's why this is so critical. So critical. All right, we're gonna go back in. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. How will that make you feel, Brent, when we achieve that?
I think my stress level would go down, and
Oh,
I would just have a lot more joy in my life to not have to be constantly worried about fixing stuff, paying bills, all the things.
so more joy, less stress. Yeah. Anything else you'd want to add there?
Can't think of anything right off the top of my head.
So having more joy and less stress, how's that significant to you personally?
Worked hard for a long time, and it's, and my goal was not to work until I died, but to, have a work until I could afford to go off and chase dreams and visit places and people that are important to me.
Yeah. Well done. Good work. You see how that got personal, but it was still professional? See how deeply we went in about a 5-minute period of time? For real, these questions aimed well are going to get you a lot of information. Again, not to manipulate, not to coerce, but to come alongside with clarity and caring, in this case with Brent and his family, to say, we got some serious things we can aim for here. Not just on a transactional level, but a relational level. Questions on that? Is this making sense? Yes, no, maybe so.
Do you find that people will, I've obviously thought about this before,
Yeah.
but do you find that people need, I think it helps them process that,
Yes.
but do you think people lead you down a false path ever? They're like, well, I think,
How so?
where you can sort of, just trying to think of a good example, but yeah, it's maybe real surfacey, well, we just thought it would be good to move.
Then you go deeper.
Yeah.
Questions, right?
I think that's where that wasn't, keep going into what's important to you about that. Because eventually you're gonna get to a point where it's slightly awkward. Because they haven't really, I say this nicely, and it doesn't sound this way, but I find when going through this, a lot of times people haven't fully thought it through all the way.
Yeah,
And
I guess
you-
that's what I'm saying.
Right, and so you're
You're
gonna
helping
have to have the skill and the courage to ask questions and sit in silence to the point where it's probably gonna get slightly awkward at some point. But that's usually when it goes from automatic to now I'm manual. Now I'm thinking through, yeah, why is it that that's important? Why is that actually significant to me? Right? So you're gonna have to have the space and the courage to be able to entertain that. So to answer your question, I think that first question, what's important to you, you keep drilling down as far as you need to go. Honestly, I keep going until they don't have an answer. Like they'll be at some point they'll be like, I don't know. Okay, great. We've covered it. I'm just not afraid to keep going. Yes.
You ever get where somebody will say, look, I don't like this line of questioning. I'm here to hear you and why you think you can do the job for us. Just tell us that.
Yeah. I mean, it probably, yes, to some degree. Well, it's rare. It's rare that comes up, that scenario, because, what's not inherent is this, I'm doing a prequel saying, hey, here's the deal. I'm coming out. Tell me a little about your house. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to come in. We're going to cover motivation. You're going to give me a tour. And then we're going to talk about whatever questions you have. So I'm all preloading the conversation to say, here's the outline for our time together. So I'm going through this, and then we'll get into questions that go into some of that as well. So keep that thought, and we'll circle back if we need to. All right, questions. If you would like my 100+ prospecting possibilities, go ahead and take a moment to fill that out, and I'll have my assistant get that to you as soon as possible. Let's take a moment and see if there are any other questions that you have or comments.
Music for you.
Oh, sounds like my 70s vibes. What are the bell-bottom pants? All right, if there's no other questions, we're going to transition. So we went through motivation. We're going to talk about expectations, setting expectations. So these are the exact questions. You might modify it a little bit to you and to what feels natural for you, but these are the questions that I ask. What is your previous real estate experience? Why do you think I asked that?
Especially right now, have lived in their home a long time, probably.
Yeah.
So they don't even know what to expect anymore because it's been 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Or even 10.
Yeah. One of my appointments in Loretto on Saturday, guy had lived there for 35 years. Has the industry changed a little bit in the last 35
That
years?
was my first questions I asked when the buyers. How
Yeah.
long have you lived in your home?
Right.
Because then I need to go direction wise.
Yep. I had an amazing experience when I bought. Oh, I had a horrible experience. Oh, what happened?
Yep.
Tell me about that. What didn't you like? How would you have wished it was different? They're feeding, you're asking questions. Remember, it goes back to asking quality questions, and then you're listening. They're just gonna spill it to you. As your professional realtor, what qualities are you goodness gracious, let me restart that over. As your professional realtor, what qualities are most important to you? I want to stop here. I want your feedback. Why am I prefacing that question with as your professional realtor? Keeping in mind, this might be the very first time I've met somebody.
You're putting that in there, you're presenting yourself as such. I mean, as, like, you're assuming the sale, essentially. Assuming the
It's a
close.
soft close. It's a psychological, conscious, subconscious soft close. The more you can put these little embedded things in there, the easier that close becomes. It's just the natural. Some people call it the yes momentum or the yes ladder. Yes, that would be helpful. Yes, I agree. We need a good, strong marketing plan. Yes, yes, yes. And then it says, well, doesn't it make sense for us to do business together? Oh, yes, because we've been saying yes this whole time, right? The more you can add those in there, the better. This third one, this is how I ask it. You could ask it differently. What will make this a 5-star experience for you? What would make this an absolute win? Whatever. You can use the language however you want, but basically, again, you're trying to find what makes this an absolute win. So if I'm understanding correctly, if I execute on A, B, and C, you're supremely happy. Yes. Okay. Again, what else? Don't assume, keep going until you hit that dead end road. And then usually by this point, we've talked it all out, but just to be safe. Is there anything else we need to talk about before getting the process started? Again, I'm doing a soft close because what they're thinking about is paperwork or avoiding paperwork or whatever it is. Is this making sense? Okay. When it comes to the most important qualities in being prepared for that question, what are some of the answers people might give? Or important qualities of my professional realtor.
Communication.
Communication, yeah. Yep. Trust, yep. Honesty, integrity, morality, whatever, yep. However they put it.
They might be fearful. They might have no idea what they might need and not know how to say is they need education.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're so confused and we haven't done it for 35 years. We don't even know what we're doing.
Yeah. Which could masquerade it.
Reassurance, maybe.
Yeah, reassurance, educate, and education. We might need somebody to hold our hand, which could be masquerading as the local expert. Potentially, if we mine that a little bit further. When you say local expert, what are you specifically looking for? Speaking of local expert, communication, marketing, negotiations, experience, pedigree, ease of process. This isn't exhaustive, but it is some of the bigger ones. Here's where you have to tailor your message to you and how you do things. You should be able to do this in the elevator. See people writing, so I'm going to pause for a moment. About 50 more seconds. What do you mean by pedigree? Track record, performance. Which again, keep going another level deeper. Okay, tell me more about what's important to you about that. You don't want to assume things. Want to know it for sure. Come from a place of curiosity. All right. Mindset matters. So this is what I do. And we're going to talk about what some of the things you do. So mindset matters. So this is how I just operate. So I'll get there 10 minutes early, but even before then, I park somewhere where I can't be seen, so I don't look like a weirdo. And here's some of the things that I affirm in myself. I'm the professional of choice. Not in a cocky way, but if this person doesn't go with me, they're going to lose out in some way, shape, or form. And I mean that. I'm serious about that. I have my get-to list, not my to-do list. I also have my I get to do real estate. Listen, friends, here's the deal. There's a million jobs out there. We don't have to do real estate. If it gets to a point where you are saying to yourself, I have to, I would encourage you to step back and examine that, because I have to, in my opinion, is a scarcity mindset. We get to. So we get the privilege of helping people. We get the privilege of helping people through upsizing, downsizing, right-sizing, transitions, whatever it is. This is a major aspect of somebody's life. And for most people, it's their biggest asset is their house. So having somebody they can trust, having somebody who's ethical, having somebody who XYZs whatever they want is a get to. Again, this is my suggestions, not how you have to run your business. I am humble and I'm confident. Let me ask you this. What is the difference between confidence and cockiness?
One's about your ego and one's about your knowledge.
I like that. It's good. Good. One about confidence, ego, and one about knowledge, you said? I'm gonna maybe even be more succinct. I feel that cockiness is confidence that lost its humility. I truly believe, and I have the privilege of rubbing shoulders and learning from some very high individuals within real estate. And a lot of them have the capacity to be fully confident and fully humble at the same time. Now, does anybody get it right 100% of the time? Of course not. And most of us, we err on one side versus the other. Too humble, i.e. fear-based, too cocky, i.e. ego-based. But people at the top, I've found a lot of times, are operating in this space pretty well, mentally, emotionally. What are you all saying? So you all share for the benefit of each other. What are you all saying to affirm yourself when you go into a listing appointment? This is your opportunity to share.
I'm excited to learn about these clients and
Yeah.
excited to help them.
Excited to learn, excited to help. Love it. Yeah. So basic, but yet profound, right? And what does that do for you specifically? Like, how does that set the stage for you?
Keeps me curious, right? Yeah. Because I genuinely want to learn about them and genuinely want to help.
What's the story here? What else? A couple other people share. What are you saying? Yes. Nothing I can't. Say that again, but a little bit louder because that's so good. There's nothing that can come up that I can't handle. If you think about, I mean, have you ever gone through tough situations or tough circumstances? Have you ever gotten to something like, I think I'm going to die, and then you got on the other side of it? I think everybody's been there. If we look back at how far we've come in life, absolutely, there's nothing I can't handle. Might be uncomfortable, grossly uncomfortable. Makes me want to curl up in a ball uncomfortable sometimes, but I can handle it. What else? One more.
I am passionate about what I do.
Passionate about what I do. What's important to you about that?
Well, I met a lady recently that was talking to me about another topic, and she was so very passionate. And I said, I can feel that in you, and I want to work with you just because of your passion. She says, I am. I love what I do.
Does that make a difference when you go on a listing appointment?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think, I mean, do you all know the percentage of communication that's non-linguistic? Do you know the percentage of it by chance? 80, I've heard 89, it's the vast majority. It's the vast majority. How we carry ourselves, our body language. Are we slumped over? Is our chest out? Are we crossing our hands, our feet, whatever, right? Are we leaning in? Which, by the way, we should be observing these things of the people that we're talking to. All good stuff. All right. Remember that their perception is your reality. I'm going to give you a couple scenarios to reiterate this. Extreme scenario. So at this point, I'm fairly experienced. I feel like I can do my job at a pretty high level. And there's times where I'm like, dang, I just hit a home run on this thing. Man, I am proud of myself. But then I'll have recently I had a client said, well, we were just really disappointed. I was like, oh, dang, what happened? Well, we just felt like we handed you a diamond in a rough and it was an easy process for you. Going back to what we said, we take responsibility as leaders first. We look at ourselves first. Said, okay, well, that wasn't my intention, but that's how it was perceived. So where's my mistake in this? I wasn't as good as I could have been at communicating through the process of everything that was going on and all the work that was going on behind the scenes. So that was on me, right? So I mean, we nailed it. The team nailed it, like legit nailed it. However, in this case, the perception of the client dramatically changed the experience. Conversely, I think it was about a year ago. I don't know if I was off, I was sick, I don't know. I was messing up left and right. It was not up to my standards. I was feeling genuinely bad about how I was handling this situation. It got to close. We always ask for a referral. I'm like, I don't know, should I ask for a referral? Honestly, because that's how I feel about this. It's like, oh my gosh, you guys are so amazing. We will use you every time from here on out. Just to show you their perception is so important. If you're not thinking about this, you need to. Again, I'm not saying be manipulative. I'm not saying be coercive, but I am talking about being strategic in shaping the reality around the experience such that you're shaping the perception. The better you get at this, the higher level of quality service and connection you will have with your clients. Value cannot be given and can only be received. I'm just reiterating. It is their value system. It is what they determine as value, not yours. They're the ones creating the reality, the context, what's a win, all this. It's all based on them. And then our value, again, this is while I don't believe in making things transactional, I want to build relationships long term. The reality is on a basis of selling a house, that is a transaction. They may well make a decision to go with you or not based on if you can get them from where they are now to that downsized house. It's that simple. Do you have the skill set, etc., to get them from where they are to where they want to be? Questions on any of that? I'm going to wrap up in about 7 minutes for Q&A. So you want to close the deal. Here's what I would do. You want to validate again what they value. They value. Not what's important to me. I'm going to be transparent again. There are times where I talk about all these things and how many deals I've closed and yada yada. I can see their eyes gloss over. I'm like, ah, crap. That was what I valued. That wasn't what they valued. I'm telling you, please don't make these mistakes. Assure them that you're the professional of choice. Brent, downsizing for a lot of reasons is important to you. Therefore, it's important to me. We're going to have a good time working together. And I can guarantee you, we're going to be a professional experience with you on the sale of your house. Let's go ahead and start the paperwork. Something like that. Close it down. Because as soon as you leave, 50% less chance of getting paperwork, 100% down to 50, 75 down to 25. Just do it. You came this far, you might as well. Would you like to know the 3 key questions people are thinking in their mind? They might not ask it directly, but they're answering 3 key questions, whether or not to go with you. Is that something that would be helpful for you? Yes? No? Yes. Character. Can I trust this person? Can I trust them? And I think if we went into the deep psychology of human beings, irregardless of real estate, we're probably all, with everybody that we're in connection with, to some degree, we're asking this question. So we might as well just answer it for them. That's a character question. Can I trust Kyle? Can I trust Brent? Can I trust Matt? Competency. Okay, well, I can trust Kyle, but can he get the job done? Does he have the skills to do it? Completely different question. Now we're talking about competency, pedigree, performance, experience, whatever. They might use different words, but basically that's what they're asking. Compassion. Will he look out for me? Your best interest is my first interest. It's one of the things that I'll say sometimes on a listing appointment. I'm serious. This is about you. This is about your life. You worked hard to be where you're at, to have the equity that you have, to downsize so that you can not work as much and have less stress and more joy. I'm serious about this. So compassion. Does this person care about me? I guarantee you, the more proactive you are at answering these questions throughout the process, maybe it's direct, maybe it's not, that closing, they'll be at, yeah, let's decide. Okay, I'm gonna give you a moment. I know this is fast and furious, so I'm gonna give you a couple minutes because I want you to think about what was the main takeaway, how are you gonna implement it, and then hold yourself accountable. And then we'll share about that. So I'm gonna give about 60 seconds. All right, anybody willing to share? What's the main takeaway? Yes.
You need to get to the core of their needs, concerns, wants, and then reiterate back to them and
Yeah.
why with them.
Get to the core, repeat, affirm. Yeah. I'm gonna use maybe a weird analogy. I'm a big fan of people who do what they do at a high level. So Tom Brady's now retired, but either you love him or you hate him. There's no in between. But irregardless, I would propose, irregardless of whether you love or hate him, he's amazing at what he did. Why is that? Because every day he showed up and did the fundamentals better than anybody else. This is no different. The core. What's the core? Ask good questions, get to the core of what people want, and then tailor it to that, specific to your business. That make sense? Yeah. Thanks for sharing. What else? What are the other takeaways? Yes.
Never expect perfection on any closing.
Never expect perfection. Okay.
All right, you should be a realtor.
How old are you? You're 9.
And in 7 days.
Are you looking for a job? I'm hiring.
Take my worker?
She shared, never expect perfection. It's a process, right? Enjoy the process. Thank you for sharing. What else? What else are we taking away? Yes.
I took away the idea of treat all of your listing appointments as though they're their only one this year. And how would that change the focus? Because every client, it is their only listing appointment this year.
Oh, whoa, that just took it to the next level. Because for that person, it is their one deal.
Right.
So we flip it around to their perception, their perspective. Good. We're putting ourselves in their shoes yet again. Good. Changes things.
I'd like to see you in front of a real client.
Yeah.
And the reason is, I mean, you're talking to us real strong on, you are an expert at this topic, obviously.
Yeah.
But when we practice, I can tell you have that humility in your voice. And so that's one of the takeaways that I'm taking is that to be strong and passionate about what we do in this situation, but then to switch to being able to in conversation.
Yeah. I'm projecting a little bit extra because I'm in the room and because I'm teaching. Yeah. So it's strategic, but I'm not going to be doing that at the kitchen table.
Right.
It's going to be audibly overwhelming.
I get
right?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the tone is more like, I can see that. Tell me more about that. What's important to you about that again? Am I hearing you correctly when you say blank? That's the tone.
I hear your tone. I can hear it. I like it.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What else? Yeah.
I was just reiterating that I get to do real estate. Obviously, a lot of people get into real estate because they want to have the freedom to build their own schedule or build their own business or that kind of thing. But having the mindset that you get to do it and really loving to do it is what's going to keep you going in this business and not operating out of scarcity and then you show up.
Yeah.
On those listing appointments or working with buyers and all of that. So really hammering down, I get to do this and I want to do this and I love to do this.
And I choose to do it at a high level. Yeah. And even further, you get to be a part of an amazing core group that is Edina, that is KW. This isn't normal. It might be normal here, but in the industry, that's not normal. This energy, the all the stuff that goes into it, right? not normal. I guarantee you that. Not common. Right, maybe one or two. Yes.
To be the professional that the appropriate.
It really comes back to, it starts with me. So if there's something good that's happening, great, learn from that. If it's not something you want, learn from that. But it starts with me. So good leaders, wish we had more leaders in other areas of life that was the first, instead of blame or pointing a finger, you'd say, okay, what's my part in it? And let's go from there. What else? Somebody else raised their hand. Yes.
The last three things you talked about, the three key questions and how you integrate them into your whole process.
Yeah. Presentation. Yeah, it's going to look different for all of you. You might be 1, 2, 3 or 3, 2, 1 or all, whatever. I don't know, 3B, 3A, 2, 1. I don't know. I'm just making things up. But it's going to have to feel authentic and organic to you and how you do your business. And over time, as you do this hundreds of times, it'll just get to a subconscious level where I can just sit down and say, and I can just be zeroed in on the person. I'm reading their facial expressions and their body language and when did they lean back and when did the tone and the intonation change and all these things. But the more you get into this and put it in your subconscious mind and systematize it, the more you're going to be able to ask these questions at a higher level. And it just comes with practice. Yeah. Did you raise?
No, I just,
I love it. All right, perfect. Well, I have a little bit of time for Q&A if you all want to ask some questions. Yes.
What materials do you bring to your listing appointment?
It is literally our listing packet and the paperwork. That's it. All of it. Yes.
What's in your listing packet?
It's just a process. What we do for marketing. We don't even look at it. 99% of the time, we don't even look at it. This is all conversation based.
Do you bring your listing representation packet with you and have them sign there, or do you?
Yeah. The expectation is that we're going to sign
on
the spot
on paper.
Yes, correct. The exclusive agreement. Yes. Yep. Yeah, I do. So I do about an hour because I'm really taking time to dive into this. Some people will do like a 2-stopper. I just do a 1-hour stop. So the process is a pre-qual, which is also very basic. Tell me about your house. I'm just listening to the language to see what personality they are. Oh, it's great. What else? Oh, well, we redid the roof 20 years ago. And on the left side, it's a little bit dilapidated. I'm like, okay, thank you. But I'm just listening to the personality that I'm going to be talking to so I can adjust accordingly. The disc profile. That's the only purpose of that question. And here's what we're going to do. You're going to give me a tour. We're going to sit down. I'm going to tell you about what we do and also answer whatever questions you have. By the way, when you go through this, there's not a lot of questions after that to answer whoever. After you do this well, there's not a lot of questions that they have at the end. Maybe logistical or timeline wise, but it's not like substantive, like philosophical, like tell me more about who you are. You're like, that usually doesn't come up. So then we're going to sit down, answer all any questions, and then we'll go through paperwork if you're 100% comfortable and confident. And then I just expect that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
And listing agreement?
Yeah. The full listing paperwork. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
What do you do to lead generate?
I've done it all in my 12.5-year career, literally every single form of lead generation. My team as of now is very heavy on our SOI. So we do a lot of MOFRs, make offer for instant response, engaging through a touch system, that kind of stuff. So had ISAs in the past. I'm flirting with the idea now. Let's see. Yeah.
At what point in the listing presentation do you bring up price and commission?
Yeah, good question. It kind of depends on the temperature of the room. Because a lot of this filters from their, what's important to you. So you're gonna say, well, X, Y, and Z, top value. Okay, we need to talk about that. Communication, we should definitely talk about that. But they're gonna give you literally the information you need based on that question, and then you just go into those things. Now, if they don't say value, obviously we need to talk about that, so you'll bring it up, but it's rare that they don't. Who's selling a house? They're like, you know, if I make an extra 20 grand, it doesn't matter. You know, said no one usually ever. It's rare, but it does happen. Good question.
So you walk in with a price in your head?
Yeah, and I'm not gonna give them a price specifically on the front end.
Okay.
I'll ask them, literally, maybe I sound cocky, but I don't think I am. They're like, well, what do you think about price? Yeah, I've been doing some research. I think I have a ballpark area that I'm narrowing in on. What I'm just out of curiosity, where do you think you are? I will make them answer that question first. Because also, if we're 50 grand off, I'm not gonna waste my time on a listing that's not gonna sell.
And how do you get, okay, so do you sell in a specific area or are you pretty wide ranging?
No, I mean, at this point, we're Twin Cities.
Right.
It's all St. Cloud, with a little bit of Wisconsin, yeah.
When you, trying to figure out how best to say this.
Yeah.
So if you walk in to a house and it last was sold 25 years ago.
Yeah.
So you have no idea really what has been done to it.
Sure.
You have gained the knowledge to be able to say, okay, I see that you've done a new kitchen and blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And so that probably changes the value that I had
X.
by X.
Yes, yeah.
How did you establish that? Is that just through experience or did you like?
And homework.
Yep.
So I have the benefit of over 1,000 transaction close. So at this point, I could probably go into an appointment and have a pretty good idea of the range based on conditions that we're in. That said, not doing that. I need to do some homework. We all should do homework, but that should narrow it down. And I don't like to be in a range under 650. I don't like to be anywhere other than in a range of 10,000. I want to be specific.
So if you were a newer agent, would you say maybe going and previewing 4 or 5 houses in that neighborhood might be a good idea?
Absolutely.
That's a loaded question, obviously.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So just throw that out there.
Yeah. Thank you for doing that, Brent.
We
Yeah.
will play real quick.
Sure.
I'm the seller here.
Okay.
So yeah, we're talking about commissions here, and I don't really want to pay commissions. What say you? What do I have to?
Talking about commission percentages.
I
Okay.
think this new rule that changed. I don't really have to offer anything to the other side.
Gotcha. Well, as I shared, most of the time I do 7%. And it's rare that I don't. And when I don't, usually might blow your mind. I'm the one who volunteered to do a circle. So John, if it's okay with you, I'll walk through the little script around describing commission. Is that okay? John, TL, John, is that okay? Sure. Yeah. So again, you all have to figure out how you do it. So I'll show you the script and walk through it, how I do it. And this is specific to our team. You're gonna have to figure this out for yourself, but this is how I get ahead of the conversation. And usually if it's price, so I would ask, okay, so what's important to you? And I'm not gonna have you do it, but what's important to you about the commission?
I just want to max out.
You want to net the most possible or save as much as possible? Okay, but which one is more important to you? Because if you had to choose.
Well, I want to net.
Okay, so bottom line, if it comes down to it, I'm hearing you correctly, you want to net as much as possible. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna break down, because I want to be fully transparent on the commission where everything goes. I'm gonna show you how to net as much as possible. Is that okay? Great. All right. Now remember, there's no standards, so we can't use that language in commissions. We can't use that anymore. So here's what we do, here's what we've come to, and then explain it that way. That's how we do it. You have to apologize for my handwriting because it's a terrible thing, but it is what it is. All right. So very common on the selling side of things will be a commission of 2.7%. You already brought up, what's your name?
Joe.
Joe, you already brought up the potential of maybe not paying that out. We're going to come back to that. 2.7, pretty typical, sometimes more, sometimes less, more often than not, it's there on the buying side, buyer agent commission. Remaining 4.3%, some's going to, I'm going to do the abbreviated version. Some's going to the broker, some goes to marketing. Here's where I stop and pause. 1% is a lot for most agents. Most agents don't do that. We've tracked, our team has tracked year over year, our original list price received versus our competition. And it's always been in the 4 to 6% more. So if you were to hand me $1 and I were to give you 5 back, would that be a good deal? Yes. That's what that is right there. And then we talked about marketing. Last 2.1% goes to buying X because they're expensive. That's it. Now, if you're saying you want to net as much as possible, Joe, I'm pretty sure the broker's not doing it for free. I'm pretty sure the agent's not doing it for free. So if we're going to save on commission, where's it coming from? Well, it could be from the buyer agent perspective. And I'd love to say all agents are the same and moral and do the right thing per the client every single time. But there are some agents who, if there's not something here or it's lowered, they're not showing that property. It's a pretty big risk. Are you willing to risk not selling your property for a price cut there? Knowing that we can make it up here. Or, oh, so here's the doozy. So I got 7% when somebody else offered 4. I kid you not. This is the literal thing. So where else would they be getting that commission cut from? That's the only 2 places. Any questions on that? No. Does that make sense? Yes. Are we good? Yes.
Again, those 3 different sections.
Broker, you're going to have to work it all out to your specific broker, marketing, my commission, what I walk away with. Obviously, it needs to be specific to your business. Answer your question, Joe?
I'd just like to hear what other agents.
Yeah. There's different ways of doing it. That's the way. This will make me millions of dollars in my lifetime. I kid you not. Yeah.
6%, or what does that say?
4.3. 4.3?
Sorry, the very bottom.
Oh, 4 to 6%. Yes.
Your additional spend on marketing, or is that the net, the additional net per?
That's the original list price received difference between our team on average yearly versus the average commission. Excuse me, I'm saying this confusing. If you take the average original list price received and then ours in conjunction with that, we've been 4 to 6% more.
You're saving the 2.7. That's your shtick,
So I'm differentiating between the net and saving. Those are not necessarily the same thing. If you can out negotiate your realtor, you might be out negotiating yourself on the back end. Therefore, saving and netting are 2 separate things. This is a very common thing that comes up. What you have to create a division in their mind between saving is netting. It could be, but it's not necessarily the case. So if that's not the case, what's your insurance plan that you do actually net the most possible? A reasonable person, if you do this well, will say, yes, let's do this. Or if they still say 5%, there's times, and it's rare, but there's times where I'll just leave. There's a guy 6 months ago who just who agreed to this and just was not going to do it. That's fine. I also know you're going to be a pain in my backside the entire time. So I'm out. Find somebody else.
You better have data to show that 4.6%.
What's that?
You better have data to show.
Oh, yeah. Because if they call you on it, you better have it.
You get in trouble.
Yeah, because we're not making this up. Yeah, good question. Last question. Yeah.
Not be able to answer this, but I'm a newer agent and I don't have data like that to back it up. So how would I go about that conversation? That would
Data.
Office data, yeah. I don't know. You all are smart. What would you say? What's the answer? Yeah, I mean, we, the office, Keller Williams. No, isn't brand new. Call it imposter syndrome, whatever, you know, you're finding your way. I'm new to real estate. I would use the we as in like the collective. Might be parsing it out in your mind. You don't necessarily have to say that, right? Please don't say that. But in your mind, that's what you're referencing. That's fine. Whatever you gotta do. All right, helpful? Good, good. Thanks for having me out.
What office are you in, Kyle?
Out of the, like, Minneapolis.
They moved